What if I told you that you could create emotional freedom while staying deeply compassionate? That you could care about people without carrying their pain in your body? What most people don't realize is there's a hidden burnout trap destroying empaths everywhere. And the sneaky part is it's disguised as love and kindness. And here's the controversial truth that might make you uncomfortable. Taking on others' emotions isn't love, it's codependence. Stay with me because I'm going to show you exactly how to break free from this exhausting cycle. Hey there, I'm Lynn Carpenter with Blissful Heart Coaching. If this is your first time here, I created what I call the Unbridled Authenticity Coaching Model, which guides women back to their true selves, free from the expectations, fears, and old stories that once kept them small. You might be wondering, what does unbridled really mean? When I talk about bridling, I'm drawing from the world of horses. In thoughtful horsemanship, a horse learns to respond to gentle pressure while ideally staying connected to its spirit. But many of us as humans internalize the pressure around us so deeply that we began to bridle ourselves, suppressing our true thoughts, emotions, and desires to stay safe, accepted, and loved by the people we depended on. The unbridling process is about gently loosening those old reins, healing the survival adaptations that once kept us safe, and reconnecting with our whole, worthy, soul led selves. Let me start with the client's story. This woman came to me completely depleted. She was the family therapist, the friend everyone called during their crisis, the colleague who absorbed all the workplace tension. She thought her sensitivity was her superpower, but she was living in what I call the empathic burnout trap, constantly scanning everyone's emotional landscape, adjusting her own energy to manage theirs, and believing that love meant carrying other people's pain. This is where my horse Fallan comes in. Fallan is a big Bay Warmblood, huge, strong, grounded, and deeply intuitive. She beautifully supports people in being present with their emotions and breathing into them to allow emotions to move through them, not get stuck in them. Here's what's fascinating about Fallon. She can sense when someone is in emotional pain, and she'll often stand behind them, showing them they're strong, resilient, and not alone. But here's the key: she witnesses their emotions without absorbing them. After I devastatingly lost my soul horse Bodie in 2020, I would cry into Fallon's neck. She would put her nose on my heart and send me loving, healing energy. She never took on my grief as her own. And that's the difference. She held space, not weight. That's what true emotional boundaries look like. This is where we need to get really honest about something uncomfortable. There's a massive difference between compassion and codependence, and most of us have been taught that they're the same thing. But compassion says, I see your pain, I care about you, and I trust your ability to move through this. Codependence says, your pain is my pain, your healing is my responsibility, and I can't be okay unless you're okay. So, how do you know if you're stuck in the empathic burnout trap? Here are three signs you're in emotional codependence. The first is body scanning. That's where you walk into a room and immediately feel everyone's mood in your body. The second is emotional responsibility. And that's when you feel guilty when others are upset, even when it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And the third is energy depletion. That's when you leave social situations feeling drained rather than nourished. When Fallon works with our clients, she teaches them something profound. You can be fully present with someone's emotions without making those emotions your own. She shows them how to ground in their own energy first, witness without fixing, Send love without absorbing pain, and trust others' capacity to heal. Here is the 3-step unbridling process for emotional freedom. Step 1 is to recognize your bridling pattern. Notice when you're taking on emotions that aren't yours. Your body will tell you sudden heaviness, anxiety that came from nowhere, or feeling responsible for moods you didn't create. Step 2 is to create energetic boundaries. Before entering emotional situations, imagine Fallan standing behind you, strong, grounded, supportive. You can care deeply while staying in your own energetic space. And step 3 is to trust others' healing journey. This is the hardest part, releasing the belief that your absorption of their pain somehow helps them to heal. It doesn't. It just depletes you and robs them of their own strength. Here's what might make you uncomfortable. When you stop absorbing others' emotions, some people won't like it. They might call you selfish or say you've changed. That's because they were unconsciously using you as their emotional dumping ground. Real love doesn't require you to sacrifice your emotional well being. This client learned to be present with her family's struggles without taking them on as her own. She discovered she could actually be more helpful when she wasn't depleted. Her relationships became more authentic because people had to develop their own emotional regulation skills instead of relying on her as their emotional shock absorber. If this resonates with you, I want you to try Fallan's practice this week. Before entering any emotionally charged situation, take 3 deep breaths and imagine you have Fallan's strength behind you. You're supported, you're grounded, and you can love someone without losing yourself in their experience. Let me know in the comments what's one relationship where you've been absorbing emotions that aren't your own. No judgment. We've all been there. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this work, I invite you to take my free quiz to discover your unique people-pleasing pattern. Just like my horses each have their own healing gifts, you have your own specific way that people-pleasing shows up in your life. Take the quiz and discover which of my 4 horses can guide your journey to breaking free from your particular pattern. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, where we're going to talk about how to speak up without over-explaining, another pattern that keeps us small and people-pleasing. You can care deeply without caring at all. You can be compassionate without codependent. That's not selfish. That's what sustainable, soul-led love looks like.